Hello everyone, my dear students, friends, and well wishers. Namaskar. Thank you for showing interest on my channel. To move on, in this video, I am going to explain you about the overview of the management. Introduction to the management. In this, I am going to make you clear about the meaning of the management, features of the management, definitions. Management is an art or science. What is the difference between management and administration? Management as a process and span of management. Let me make you clear one by one. First, what is the meaning of the management? Management is goal oriented and it is an art of getting things done with and through others. What is management is a goal oriented? Means the success of any management activity is accessed by its achievement of the predetermined goals or objectives of any company. That is what we call goal oriented. Means it is a purposeful activity, and it is also a tool which helps use of human and physical resources to fulfill the predetermined goals. The next point of the meaning of the management, the practice of management helps to achieve the organizational mission and determines the future of business enterprise. For example, the goal of an enterprise is to maximum consumer satisfaction. How we have to do? We have to provide quality goods at reasonable prices. This can be achieved. How it can be achieved? By employing, by providing efficient persons and making better use of scarce resources, because the resources are always scarce. In a nutshell, the meaning of the management is a goal oriented, and it is a purposeful activity. It is a combination of physical and human resources to integrate them to for achieving the business goals and objectives, and it is the getting things done with others. This is what we call the meaning of management. Then move on to the further. What is the concept or characteristics or features of management? In this, first is body of knowledge. Right. Management is a literature. It is growing in all across the globe, all countries. It is specialized body of the management theory and philosophy. It is a best passport to enter the world of employment. So management is a having the body of knowledge. It is consisting of so much knowledge. It is also the growing across the globe. The second one is the management tools. The management tools have been developed such as accounting, business laws, ecology, statistics, econometrics, data processing. All these are the branches of management profession, which they are going to enhance the practicality of the science of management. The third one is a separate discipline. See, management is specialized schools of management offering it is a master's degree, MBA, master's degree in business management, MBM, MBA, and administration. So it is having the separate discipline. So for that, what they have to do: seminars, special courses, training programs, or become fashionable and popular for orientation and retraining in management areas. Suppose export management, personal management, financial management, human resource management, marketing management. So I can tell you that management is having separate discipline. To move on, this is also specialization. So it is a growing tendency to select and appoint highly qualified, trained, and experienced persons to manage the business in each functional areas of the management. You have to be specialized. If you are specialized in the finance, you are going to become a financial manager, or human resource manager, or you are good in marketing or specialized in marketing field, then you are going to become a marketing manager, right? This is the what we call specialization. Having said that, let me move on to the code of conduct. See, this is the management is a social institution, and it is also having the social responsibilities, not just towards the customers, employees, but also as well public as well as the community. So at present, seller beware in place of buyer beware, influencing the market practices. So earlier, buyer beware before purchasing goods, you have to take care of your goods. Now it is a seller beware. So there are so many consumer protection acts are also coming as far as the management is concerned. Right. Then this is also professional association. We have business management association. Many countries to promote the spread of the knowledge in the management areas, and it also build up the image of the managerial profession. So after that, I would like to go for the definitions of the management. So what is the definitions of the management? See, generalized definition of the management and specialized definition of the management. I am going to give you clear cut picture. Right. Generalized definition of management is an ongoing process. It is a continuous process. Allocating inputs of an organization means raw material, labor, human resources, and economic resources. All these are the inputs. By typical management function, planning, organizing, directing, staffing, controlling, what we need to do, inputs, and providing managerial functions, the ultimate aim is to achieve stated objectives, that is a output of goods and services which are required to the customers. That is what we call input resources, providing management functions, and achieving the objectives, output of goods, which qualitative goods as well as services. Then see, the definition is giving all these explanation. According to that definition, functional approach is, that is a planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and controlling. Behavioral approach, where the process affect the organization, means through personal human resources. And quantitative approach, quality of decision making, fulfilling the stated objectives. And systems approach, input, process, output. Contingency approach, ever changing business environment, so we need to do and we need to adapt to the situation, depend on the conditions, because business is continuously changing. Day to day business is a it is a continuous changing environment. So accordingly we need to move on, accordingly we have to take the decision making, right? The precise definition of the management is, there are two people have given Henry Fayel: to manage, to forecast, to plan, to organize, to command, and to coordinate and control. So these are the what is management is essence. You have to, if you wanted to management, you have to focus what will happen in the future. You have to make a plan, what to do, what why to do, where to do, when to do, how to do. You have to make a plan and to organize, making things in a systematic way. To command, you have to command to the subordinates as and when required, to coordinate along with all the superiors as well as the subordinates, and to control, maintain the standards, what are the actuals you got, and if there is any deviation between the actuals and standards, you have to make correction. Right. Now, the another definition Peter F. Drucker has given: management is a multi-purpose organ that manages business and manages manager and manages worker and work. So it is a multi-purpose: business, manager, worker, and work. So it is a multi-purpose organ. So we need to manage all the things. That is what we call is a management. Then Drucker, what he has stressed three jobs: managing the business, managing the manager, managing workers and work. So even if one is omitted, if one is excluded, it wouldn't have a management anymore. And it also would not have business enterprise or any industrial society. According to him, the manager has to balance and integrate all three major jobs of the business enterprise. Hence, a manager is a dynamic, changing the situation, dynamic in the sense of flexible, life giving element in every business. Without efficient management, we can't even secure the best allocation and utilization of human, material, and financial resources. This is what we call the definition repose. Then, now, the important thing I would like to discuss here is management is an art or science. Management is an art or science. What do you mean by art and what do you mean by science? How it affects to the management, right? Management is exact science. First, I would like to go for the science. So it is an exact science. It is a pure science. Pure science. It is a universally applicable. So wherever you go, if suppose you can take the example of a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2ab, wherever you go, that is a pure science, that is will be applicable and it will be the same. So science is a systematic body of knowledge pertaining to the specific field of study that contains general facts which explains its phenomena. So it gives the cause and effect relationship between two or more variables and underlines the principles governing their relationship. Right. What exactly science? It is a universally accepted principles. The management principle can be put into test in organization where man, machine, money, and materials are practically integrated towards achieving some chosen organization goals. Management is also contains some fundamental principles which can be applied universally, like what we call principle of unit of command, one man, one boss. This principle is applicable to all type of organization, whether it could be business or non-business. So management is called as a science, and these principles cannot be exactly proved or disproved. Either they tend to be flexible or changing environment. So policies, practical difficulties, synchronizing them together. So management, it is a experimentation and observation. The scientific principles are derived through scientific investigation and research. They are based on the logics. For example, the principle that earth goes round the sun has been scientifically proved. Similarly, management principles are also based on scientific inquiry and observation, not only the opinion of some management experts. They have developed through experiments and practical experiences of large number of managers. It is observed that fair remuneration to personnel helps in creating satisfied workforce. So experimentation and observation, universally applicable, cause and effect relationship. So, and test of validity and predictability. Suppose H2O will always give you, um, this means H2 and O2. Principle of management can also be tested for validity. Example, principle of unit of command can be tested by comparing two persons, one having single boss and one having two bosses. The performance first person will be better than the second. So it has been proved and it has been tested validity. So keeping all those things in a view, it cannot be denied that it is not science. Means it is an exact science. So the main reason for this inexactness of science of management is that it deals with human beings and it's very difficult to predict their behavior accurately. So it may not be pure science, but it is a science. It is a flexible science, and that is why its theories and principles may produce different results in different times, and therefore it is a behavioral science, also called it is a soft science, right? So then I will move on to the art. What do you mean by art? Art means skillful doing things. Art implies application of knowledge and skill to trying about desired results, right? It is practical knowledge is needed. Practicing them in a day-to-day life like a mason or carpenter or mechanic or magician, being able to perform their respective or they learned by a way of skill display before anybody under any circumstances. So this is required practical knowledge. Every art requires practical knowledge. In fact, therefore, learning of theory is not just sufficient. It is important to know practical application of theoretical principles. Example, for example, if you wanted to become a good painter, the person may not only be knowing different colors and brushes, but different designs, different dimensions, and different situations to use them appropriately. So, a manager can never be successful by just obtaining degree or diploma in management, but he should also have how to apply various principles in real situation by functioning in capacity of manager with experience. So the concept of management involves set of required skills for anyone designated as a manager, but the level of or span of their managers could vary from person to person and individual to individual. So the personal skills, so the theoretical base may be same for every artist, but each one has its own style and approach towards his job. That is what we call art. This is why the level of success and quality of performance differs from person to person. For example, there are several qualified painters, but MF Hussain is recognized for his style. Similarly, management and arts is also personalized. Every manager, in fact, has its own way of managing things based on his knowledge, based on his experience, and based on his personality. That is why some managers are known as a good managers, where others are a bad. So this is what we call the management is an art. Besides that, I would like to explain you creativity, perfection through practice, and it is also goal oriented. So management is called an art. So to conclude, management is neither science nor art but combination of both, requiring people holding managerial positions to apply the scientific management principles and displaying popular managerial skills to perform and to achieve the organization's goals effectively and quickly as early as possible to be competitive in the globalized environment of the business. So what we call management is both an art as well as science. See, all the above mentioned points clearly reveal that the management combines features and both science as well as an art. So it is a considered science because it is an organized body. It is a called an art because it is a requires certain skills which are personal possessions of the managers. Having said that, let me move on to the management, how it differs from administration. So administration concerning with framing the policies, whereas management is all about plans and actions. So administration denotes decision making, whereas management is a more executive in nature. Board of directors with the CEO, chief executive officer, MD, managing director may be called an administration. Manager of various units may be called as a management of the said organization. So one by one, the meaning is coming to the management. It is an organized way of managing the people and things in a business organization. But whereas administration, it is a process of administering an organization by group of people is known as the administration. Coming to the authority, it is a middle and lower level, whereas it comes to the administration is a top level. Role of management is an executive and role of administration is an decisive. The concern with policy implementation in the management, administrative policy formulation. Just we can take to the India democratic country. In the parliament, what they will do, the in the parliament, the members of the parliament will formulate the policies and the IS officers are implementing the policies. So that is the difference between management and administration. What is the area of operation? It works under our administration, whereas administration full control over the activities of the organization. So, management applicable to the business organizations, whereas administration, government offices, military, clubs, business enterprises, hospitals, religious and educational organizations. Area of operation, what should be done, where should be done, it will be keeping in the view of management, and what should and when should be done, it will be the administration side. See, having said that, let me move on to the some other differences between management and administration work. Here, plans and policies into actions. Here, only formulating the plans and framing the policies and setting the objectives. The main focus on managing work in management, whereas making best possible allocation of limited resources in the administration. Yet the key person is a manager. When it comes to the administration, it is administrator. It represents employees who work for remuneration, but administration owners who get a return on the capital invested by them. The main function of the management executive and governing, whereas administration legislative and determinative. So these are the fundamental differences between management and administration. Now I will move on to the management as a process. See what exactly it means as a process. Management refers to series of interrelated functions. It is the process by which management creates, operates, directs purposive organization through systematic, coordinated, and cooperative human efforts. So, management there is a planning, action, control cycle. A process indicates the dynamic nature of management. There are twin purposes: maximum productivity and profitability, and maximum human welfare and satisfaction. This is the main ingredients and main purposes of the management. So here I'm going to provide you, it consists of different aspects. Management is a coordination, management is a process, management is a pervasive process, management is a social process, and management is a clinic cyclical process. Right, what is coordination? So it is a coordination of all activities and resources of an organization: men, machines, materials, and money. The four M's of management. And the second one is a process, means it is a planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Coordination of all resources by managing the managerial functions. And that is a process. And what is the purposive process? Means it is a predetermined goals or objectives. Without them we have no destination to reach. And management is a social process, right? So since human factor is the most important among other factors, therefore management is concerned with developing relationship among the people. So it is the duty of management to make interaction between the people productive and useful for obtaining organizational goals. And management is a cyclical process. It is a planning, action, controlling, again replanning. It is a cycle. It is an ongoing process to attain, to achieve the goals of the organization. The last point of the discussion is span of management. Means it refers that number of subordinates who can be managed efficiently by superior. There are see how there are different types of, span of management has a two implications: influence the complexities of the individual's manager's job. So what are the difficulties are there to control these subordinates and supervise these subordinates and determine the shape or configuration of the organization? Depend on that, the span of management will be there. See here, there is a wide and narrow span of management. As come to the wider span, as I mentioned in this here, um, there will be less hierarchical levels and organ structure will be flatter. When it comes to the narrow, here hence the organ structure would be tall. So here I have given here, so the tall organ structure will be like this and flat organ structure will be like this. And what it implicates: tall organ structure imposes more challenges since the span is narrow, which means less number of subordinates under one superior requires more managers to be employed in the organization. With more levels in the hierarchy, the communication suffers drastically. Lack of coordination, lack of control, because the operating staff is far away from the top management. So that is what we call the tall organization. Benefit of using the wider span of management is that the number of managers gets reduced in the hierarchy. The expense in terms of remuneration is saved. The expenses of the manager's cost will be saved. The subordinates feel relaxed and develop their independent spirits in free working environment, and their stick to the superior orders and goals. So these are the difference, depend on the situation, depend on the organization. One organization will follow flat structure and another organization will follow tall structure. Depend on the organization, they are going to follow. This is what we call about the span of management. So these are the total introduction and overview of management. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for your support and encouragement. Thank you, one and all.